When you rock the boat and you dream big and you stretch yourself, that's where the growth happens.
Welcome to Working Women Mentor, a podcast that empowers everyday women like you, like me, to share and learn from life's mentor moments. I am your host, Rani Alfers, and in each episode, you will meet inspiring women that understand the power of recognizing mentor moments and how those moments can change it all. These fabulous women are here and ready to share it all with you. So let's dive in. Hey everybody, welcome to Working Women Mentor. I'm Rani Alfers and absolutely so excited to introduce our guest today, the remarkable Mallika Malhotra. Mallika is an award-winning brand strategist, mentor, and powerhouse speaker, renowned for her transition from crafting narratives for major brands like L'Oreal, Oil of Olay, and so many more to uplifting women entrepreneurs globally. She truly embodies the brand energizer. I mean, when you think about energizer, all I think about usually is Energizer Bunny. This lady is a brand energizer. But this episode is not just about her journey. It's really about empowering you. Whether you're budding entrepreneur, professional aiming to distinguish yourself amongst the crowd, or just wanting to satisfy that hunger for growth that I think we all have. Mallika's insights are going to strike a chord with you. We'll share the keys to defining a magnetic brand message, discovering your own power niche, and emerging as a highly sought-after authority in your area. How exciting is that? But under her guidance, you'll learn so much. And so for you to meet Mallika today is really exciting for me. Grab a comfy spot, and here we go. Let's jump in and meet Mallika. Mallika, thank you so much for joining us on Working Women Mentor. It's wonderful to have you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
Well, good. Well, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, so my name is Mallika Malhotra. I am the brand CEO. I am a brand strategist, a niche specialist, and mentor for female entrepreneurs. So women who are working as a coach or a consultant, maybe they're a designer or a photographer, they are service-based entrepreneur in a very saturated market. So they struggle with standing out and setting themselves apart from the competition. So what I do with them is I really help them strengthen their message. We try to figure out what their skills and their strengths are so that they can become a specialist and an expert. And we try to find them a power niche so that they can stop talking to everyone and really get laser focused in their niche so that their brand becomes magnetic, it becomes referable, it becomes profitable, and really the one that everybody's going to for whatever problem that they're solving.
It's really a clear message. And you're right, the space is so crowded. So with your help, because you have an extensive background working with huge brands, L'Oreal, Oil of Olay, major corporations, and in their branding departments and on their executive teams. So what motivated you to switch over to entrepreneurs and helping women focus on their specific niche?
I think it was my own personal journey. So I worked in corporate America before I had kids. I worked in advertising on those big brands, and I learned a lot about the lessons and how to build a remarkable brand. But when I started a family, I sort of opted out of the corporate and went into the entrepreneurial world so that I could have that flexibility and that freedom. And so my sort of journey as an entrepreneur has shifted and evolved, as many of us do, right? We have all of these pivots. I started out as a photographer, and then I moved into becoming a strategist. But then I surrounded myself with other women in business from all the networking that I was doing, and I kept hearing the same problems that they were having. And I felt like what I learned in terms of the big campaigns that I did for those big brands, the essence of that, the principles of that still apply to each of us. If we have a personal brand or a business brand, what we're trying to do is to be seen. What we're trying to do is to get connected to the right clients. We're trying to get paid what we're worth. We're trying to make an impact, share a story, have a message. And so I knew I could leverage those skills that I learned in my corporate background and bring it to women just like me who are struggling with building their business.
And I'm sure they're very thankful you made that choice because you're known as the brand energizer. And I love that because it sounds
energetic just thinking of it. It sounds like you're bringing new life to these new ideas that women may have when they're starting their own business or when they're really trying to refine the concept or the message. And so you have some wonderful tips that you wanted to share with us today on what we can do if we're feeling stuck in that brand, because that's where you come in.
Yeah. So many of my clients, they feel stuck. They are testing out different messages. Maybe one week they have this message, the next week they have another. They're throwing spaghetti at the wall, and it can feel hard, and overwhelming. And so when I take my clients through is a process so that they can actually evaluate and assess their skills and strengths first. I think that's where it all starts, because that message, that story, is within us. And if we want to build an energized presence out there, we got to get very clear on what are we good at? What do we believe in that we're willing to put a stake in the ground? What results can we offer to our audience on rinse and repeat so that we can get known for something, build a reputation around something? What are we passionate about? What upsets us in the industry that we're trying to change, right? That's what people are connected to, is the feeling, the emotion of the brand. That's what energizes your story, is that when people connect to you at a different level, when you have soul and depth and story, rather than just selling products and services over and over again.
Because it feels very vanilla to me. If you're online, if you're looking at social, it all just starts to run together.
Yes.
And I think unless, like you said, you can put that stake in the ground, have an original thought, have an opinion on something and share that and be behind it and believe in it is really where we start seeing that differentiation. I would absolutely agree with that.
And I would even say, like, if you have an opinion, if it's polarizing, that's even better, because really,
Says the brand strategist, right? Let's get
that's what's going to get people leaning in and get them like riled up or interested. If you have something that they haven't heard before, that's not vanilla. That's actually
yeah.
something different. So you kind of have to figure that out. That's the biggest challenge, is like, what makes me different? How do I stand out? People, they're stuck in the weeds of their business. So it's hard for them to really look within themselves to connect the dots of, this is how I'm different. It's personality, it's my passion, maybe it's my expertise, maybe it's in the process that I do it. And sometimes it takes a mentor or a coach to help you find that quicker.
So, turning our attention towards mentorship, which obviously aligns with our focus of this podcast, you have defined yourself as a mentor and as a speaker. And unquestionably, you talk about branding and guiding people and helping them professionally. But I want to know more about what sparked your transition, your own journey to how you see yourself now as not just the professional, but as a mentor.
Yeah, I think, I always call myself a mentor and not a coach. I think there's a big difference. I don't know if you agree, but for me,
Yeah.
a mentor is someone who actually will share their experience so that you have a strategy and a shortcut and a real tactical way to attack a problem or an idea. I actually offer really hands on thoughts and ideas to my clients rather than asking a million questions to have them figure it out on their own. I think as a mentor, what we're trying to do is say, this is what I think you should do. You can decide if you want to do it or not, but this is what I see based on my personal and professional experience. And so I
Mhm.
think working like that with my clients, helping giving them strategies and shortcuts, helps them get to the results much faster, right? They're able to implement much faster.
And that's what it's about. I mean, to be effective, to make an impact, and with your help, I know that you have some clear ideas and some tips, maybe 5 or so that you can share with us on what to consider when you are putting a brand together. And also, I'm curious about the common mistakes that we're making out there. Like you said, it's a sea of people. And so, what can we do and what are we all doing wrong?
Okay, let's start with the mistakes. And there's no shame in the game, right? So a lot of people think that once they have their logo and their website up, their branding is done. And honestly, those are just expressions of your brand. Your brand is the story, is the essence of like what you do, why you do it, and how you do it. It's the impression that you're making in your audience's mind. It's the reason they're choosing you over somebody else. And it's an ongoing beast. I hate to say it. So some people think it's a one and done. It's set, it's done. I don't have to do anything more. But honestly, you are always working on your brand. The marketplace changes, new competition comes in, new technology comes in, your clients' needs change, your lifestyle changes. So there's always going to be an evolvement. So you always have to make sure that your brand is healthy. The other mistake I think that people make is when it comes to branding is they are a generalist. They are offering too many things at very top level, and that makes it hard for people to remember you and to choose you to be the guide to solving their problem. When you can get specific, and all brands should really be specific in terms of this is my area of expertise. I am putting a stake in the ground in this lane, and this is what I want to be known for. Instead of saying, I am a relationship coach, period. No one's going to know. What does that even mean? Who do you serve? What do you do? Instead, you could say, I'm actually a dating coach for seniors over 60 years old who are trying to find their partner in the golden age of their life. All of a sudden, this picture is being painted in your mind, right?
Yes, I can see it. As soon as you said that, I can just hear like that is the person I need for this specific topic.
Right. So you want your brands to be precise, specific. You want to own a specialization because experts get paid more. And you want to make sure that you're standing out. So you have this superpower, something that you do really well. You want to lean into that. You want to communicate that. And then you want to make sure that you're solving a big enough problem out there so that it's relevant and that you have a methodology that you can own so that people trust you and the value that you offer. They can actually see that you're going to get them on this journey to results.
Yeah, I love that. And I think you have a very positive way of pointing out the direction to go. I just finished, in fact, a conversation about someone was doing an article on me and they sent over all this prep work for the actual interview, similar to podcast, right? Similar to this, but when you have to get down into the nitty-gritty and start defining yourself, it's really hard work. And I don't think it's a comfortable place to be sometimes for us. And I like how you are able to shape it into more of a branding point. And because it comes from either a personal message that we could be talking about a product or a service or whatever it is. Do you think they still have the same principles?
Yes, it doesn't matter if you are selling a product, if you have a service. Let's say you're a professional, a doctor or a lawyer. Let's say you work in corporate. We all have brands. We all have to shape it to make sure that they're telling the story that we want to tell, right? So we have to have that clarity. We have to have confidence. It has to be consistent. So you can't be telling one story on LinkedIn and then when you're networking, you have a totally different message. And then, on your website is something else. Confused consumers don't buy. That's just the bottom line.
That's right. And I feel like sometimes if your message is confusing, then where's your own head? Where are you on this?
And how can
Yeah.
people trust you, right? It's a know, like, and trust factor. And I think customers in today's modern marketplace, they're sophisticated. We have the tools at our fingertips to do the research. We have websites and social media. We can actually know what these people are like. And we have a lot of information to inform us if we want to hire them. So we have to be clear. We have to be confident because the customers are sophisticated and there's a lot of competition.
Absolutely. And you touched on the concept of defining the niche. I mean, because everyone can have their own topic. But for instance, the dating coach, they're focusing on seniors only, someone maybe at a nursing home, someone over the age of something, someone who lives in a particular area of the country, just something really specific, but it's got to be creative. And I know that storytelling is what really catches our attention. I mean, even in my own business, coaching my team members, just trying to get my own point across, right? I've got to be able to paint a vivid story. So I guess I'm curious, like when you're speaking to our listeners and they're thinking of their own brand, their own improvement of their brand, what tips and guidance can you give us to help us get to the niche, help us create the pretty picture that our target consumer can find?
Yes. So I think it's what I call your brand brilliance, right? And you want to sort of unlock that. And you want to simply take a pen to paper and you want to do this brain dump and list out all the jobs you've had in the past. List out all the personal experiences, those milestones that maybe had an impact on you. List out all of the values that you have, the principles in your life that you believe in. List out your passions. Have some people tell you about your personality, right? You had me go through this exercise, very revealing. List out what your purpose is, why you do this work in the first place. Put all of that juicy intel on paper, and all of a sudden you are seeing your story holistically. There are many things there that you can use to create a story. And of course, you're always going to keep your ideal client in mind, right? Everything has to be relevant with them, everything has to resonate with them. But now you have all of this rich information of the many layers of you. It's not just a service provider doing strategy. I am a mother of 3 boys. I've lived across the country in different places. I have an advertising background. There's all these layers of things that you can tap into to deepen your story so that you can connect quicker and you can connect at a much deeper level with your audience. So it sounds so simple, but the story is already within you. And it's just a matter of you getting clear on what it is and actually start communicating that in a way that is relevant to your audience.
And you also give advice on mentorship and how entrepreneurs can seek that. Well, you consider yourself, as you are a mentor, it's not that you consider yourself, you are one. And this is what you're practicing daily. How do people start looking for mentorship? How do they become one in their own right? How do we start giving back more to those around us?
Yeah. So to find a mentor, first you have to be very clear on like the goal and the objective that you have for yourself and your business, right? That's number one. Number two, as you're searching and shopping around, you want to tap into your network. You want to ask for referrals. You want to ask about people's experiences, because that's where you're going to get the real truth of what this person's like and what kind of results that they got. You can like someone online and there can be great personality, but are they going to get you results? When you hire a mentor, you want to make sure they're going to get you results, right? So you want to consume all the content that you can. When I hire a mentor, I'm not only on their website, I'm actually listening to their podcast, not only theirs, but wherever else they're on. I'm reading their blog posts. I'm looking at what kind of press they have. I want a really comprehensive view of the person that I'm starting to invest in, because it's a relationship. It's not just transactional. This person's going to know you inside and out. This person is going to hopefully be helping you over big obstacles and help you, change the trajectory of your business. So you want to learn how to trust them. So referrals, research, and then get on a call with them and ask them questions and see what that rapport is like, that energy is like, because
It's a connection. It has to be right.
it has
Yes.
to be right. And it's a long-term connection, right? It's not just like a one session. When you hire a mentor, it's 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. So you want to make sure you actually talk to that person live. And if they're not going to talk to you live, just beware. Like that means, do they really value you as a customer if they're not even letting you have a conversation with them? I know there's this trend in the online coaching world is like no discovery calls, just book right into the program, right? But you need to have a discovery as the mentor as well as the mentee.
It goes both ways, doesn't it? Not everyone listening may have a formal mentor that they've hired or have shared time with or has built a relationship yet. And that's one of my favorite things about this podcast is we can drop these mentor moments and women can hear them. They might be inspiring. What is the mentor moment that you want to share with everyone today, Mallika?
Yes, I think, and I had mentioned this to you earlier, I've never had an official mentor. I always really struggled with that, especially when I was in corporate. I never saw women in positions higher than me that had everything that I thought I wanted, like a husband and a family and a job and all of that stuff. But of course, there have been women and men in my life that have dropped nuggets that have been thought provoking. And I had worked with a coach once in very early stages of my entrepreneurial career. And as I was conducting businesses, really just inside of a box almost, just trying to checking the boxes, doing what I needed to do for the current day. And she actually poked some holes in my thinking and was like, why aren't you dreaming bigger? Why are you playing safe? And I was so almost offended by that.
Which is our normal reaction
Why?
to something like that. That's very normal. I would have felt the same way probably.
Because I thought I was doing a good job. I was checking the boxes. I was doing all the things. But she really made me think bigger because she was right. I was just playing it safe. I was not rocking the boat. And really, when you rock the boat and you dream big and you stretch yourself, that's where the growth happens. And so that moment really sort of opened my eyes to I can't live my life run my business by just playing it safe. Otherwise, I'm going to be in this area of mediocrity, and I don't want to be that. I have a vision for myself. And in order for me to get to that faster, I really have to give myself that permission to dream bigger.
I love that. How do you think that bigger dream has helped you where you are today at this moment? Or where do you think it will take you next? Because I
Yeah.
think that's
Oh
even
my
more
God.
exciting.
Wow. And that's where, from that moment with that mentor, I feel like I've really pushed myself with bigger goals. And I'm happy to say that I've reached them. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. I've reached them over time. And now I'm at a stage where it's funny. I feel like my big goal is to live simpler, to run a simpler business, to streamline, to do less, but still have more impact. And I know that might sound counterintuitive, but really that is my big goal, is that I can balance this healthy lifestyle, and really not have that hustle and feeling of doing more, but actually be doing
The
more
rush.
and
Yeah.
and have amazing, strong, transforming impact.
It reminds me of Essentialism, the book
Yes. Oh, I love
Essentialism.
that.
Yeah.
Second book out, which I read. It's good, but not as good as Essentialism, but the second book is good as well.
Is it? I know you're an avid reader. Is there anything that you're reading right now that you want to share with us?
Yeah. So one of my friends who's an entrepreneur, she wrote a book called For Success Sake. And it's really great. It's like short little chapters about personal and professional growth and how we can change our mindset in order to change the trajectory of our business and our lives. And it's very easy read, but very powerful read. So highly recommend that. But
Oh, great.
I love business books, obsessed.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And we'll make sure and mention that book in our show notes so we can all find it and
Yeah.
find what you're reading. So, one of the things we love doing is asking all of our guests to text a friend and ask that person how would they describe you in a few words to someone that has never met you, because we get the opportunity today to chat with you, but your friends, your family, they know you the best. So, what did they have to say?
Oh my gosh, this was such a great exercise and almost like brought tears to my eyes getting the feedback. So one friend said, I would describe Mallika as pure sunshine, the energizer bunny and the life of the party. She is funny, ambitious, a loyal friend, and a motivating coach. Another friend said, Mallika is extremely passionate about her work and clients. Once you are in her network, she'll do everything in her power to support your business. Her mind never stops working. She's organized and strategic. She consistently exceeds her own goals. And then one last one I'll just share is what I admire most about Mallika is not just her impressive professional accomplishments, but her kind and generous spirit. She has a genuine love for people and an unwavering commitment to making a positive impact on the world around her.
Oh, those are wonderful. And I hear as well loyalty in there. I hear, the energy and the commitment that you have to your circle and to uplifting everyone. So those are beautiful. You're going to have to keep reading those over and over, especially.
I'm on my down days. I will bring that up.
That's right.
It lifts me up.
Yeah.
No, I think everyone should have that, that little list of comments that we all have those down days. And it's so
Yeah.
it is uplifting and so nice.
And the good news is we at least, have a friend that'll respond and say something. And it's good to know that someone's out there and they're watching you. They know you. It's nice to hear that about ourselves. Mallika, where can everyone find you online?
Yeah, so my website is mallikamalhotra.co, which I know is a mouthful. So hopefully we'll just have a link for that. But if you can also find me,
don't worry.
You can find me on Instagram. That's where I usually am. It's at mallikamalhotra.co. That's my handle.
Wonderful. Well, the brand CEO, the Energizer Bunny, you brought so many wonderful ideas to our episode today. So thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. I hope you'll walk away feeling inspired and are thinking of how a mentor moment can help you or someone you know. In case you haven't hit the follow button to subscribe to this show, please do so. And if you love the episode, I'd really appreciate a review. You see, this review helps Apple or Spotify or whatever platform you're listening to us on know that other women just like you want to learn about the show. And it'll help us spread the word.
Let's connect on Instagram at Working Women Mentor or at Rani Alfers. You can find all episodes online at ranialfers.com/podcast and the ability to send an audiogram of your favorite mentor moments. And we respond to everyone. I truly can't wait to hear from you. Check back weekly for new episodes, and cheers until the next episode.